Good afternoon, everyone. I want to share a story with you today from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I'll get to reason why I'm even reading this book in just a moment, but let me share this story real quick. It's called The Parable of the Beggar. The treasure you seek is within you. A beggar had been sitting by the side of a road for over 30 years. And one day a stranger walked by. "Spare some change," mumbled the beggar, mechanically holding out his baseball cap. "I have nothing to give you," said the stranger. Then he asked, "Well, what's that you're sitting on?" "Nothing," replied the beggar. "Just an old box. I've been sitting on it for as long as I can remember." "Ever look inside?" said the stranger. "No," said the beggar. "What's the point? There's nothing in there." "Have a look inside," insisted the stranger. The beggar managed to pry open the lid, and with astonishment, disbelief, and elation, he saw that the box was filled with gold. So what does that mean? Well, the moral of the story, I think, is that, the stranger has nothing to give you. The external world really has nothing to give you until you look inside, right? Inside of yourself is a power that we have to set our world on fire in a good way. When I first wanted to be a doctor when I was 10, I had seen my sister get well after surgery. And I thought, man, that's what I want to do. It ignited a passion of wanting to help and healing within me. And as a young child, barely 10, I understood the joy that brought at the thought of having that purpose, right? It was so easy to connect to that purpose. As I grew older, I still had that deep-seated need to want to become a doctor. However, what was interesting in my experience growing up, which I may have given some hints, was difficult at times. I think the one thing that transformed and kind of, put a ugly color to wanting to be a physician is that I started using it as a form of validation. And so I think many of us have done this or do this on a regular basis, that we do things for others with an expectation of either, you give love, want love back. You say a kind word, you're wanting a kind word back. You give a gift, you expect a gift back, right? There's some kind of condition that is applied or put on the service that you're giving or whatever you're doing. And for me personally, in my head over years, I think there was a warped sense of providing help and service to my patients as a form of validation that I was important, that I was worthy of being liked and loved or whatever, respected, because I didn't have that in my own self for a long, long time. And it took me many years to come to the realization of why I was doing that, right? When you're a young child and you are rejected or neglected in a sense of your emotional being, because your parents are doing the best they can, right? We're all doing the best we can in this world. But I think there's so much more that humanity that we're missing, and that's the thing inside. 7 years ago when I started the podcast, I was really searching to understand why someone could suddenly change, that they could suddenly start incorporating lifestyle changes that allowed them to make radical life differences. They could lose hundreds of pounds and keep them off for a decade. They could radically start, going from a couch potato to moving their bodies. Their mental state shifted, their entire being shifted. And I wanted to understand that so desperately, but I was looking at it the wrong way. I was looking at it I was always asking the wrong question. And I think that's a really important lesson in life, is that sometimes when you ask a question and you're not satisfied with the answer, maybe you're asking the wrong question. maybe you're asking a question that you're wanting to be validated for your own belief point of view because you're fearful of asking a different question. And the point here that I'm trying to get at is the ever so evasive answer that I was searching for. I was always looking for the answer of what can I learn to be a better doctor, to provide better services for my patients. Yes, I wanted to help people, but I also wanted to be of more value to people, right? If I had a secret key or somehow I could say something to someone that allowed them to make these radical changes, I would be more important, right? I'd have this self-fulfilling whatever it was for my own ego. And that was a never ending, you're always chasing, right? So whatever it is for you in your ego and searching for improvement, and why are you doing it? Is it doing it from the joy of learning, or, wanting to always improve yourself for your own sake? Or are you trying to do this for external validation, right? So I think that's, for me, over the last decade or so, that shift has occurred, that now I understand I just want to provide love. Because if I can provide love and share love and be a being of love, oh, everyone else can take care of it. They can see that they too can be love, right? They are love. That is their essence. You are a magnificent, wonderful being. And when you allow yourself to know that, there's nothing you can't do, including finding the gold within you to start a healing process. Now, does this mean that every physical ailment will disappear and you'll never have another issue? No. But what it does mean, you will be at peace with whatever happens because you're still loving and valuable. And I really, really want you to understand that. So I have a few notes here just to kind of break it down. I hope this makes sense because I think it's such a really powerful lesson. It was a lesson for me, and I just really felt compelled to share with you today, because I feel like I'm on a more of a spiritual journey, even more so, because anything I teach someone or guide someone or help someone understand their blood sugar, their hypertension, and lifestyle interventions they should do, it means nothing to me if they don't incorporate them and find that they feel better at the end of the day. What's more valuable to me is that they learn that they can fill their own cup from within. And when I think of this, was yesterday I had a conversation. I interviewed my friend Dr. Dawn Salem, who has an incredible story of overcoming stage 4 cancer. Her spouse died suddenly. She had a heart transplant, went on to run a marathon yearly. I mean, it's just an incredible human being. But the one thing that she mentioned to me was something that her cardiothoracic surgeon I think had told her, was that, Dawn shared this story that after she got her transplant, she had been dealing with severe heart failure for 18 years. And she'd always felt tired and cold, and she was just humming along, and she thought, this was her normal state of affairs. But when she woke up from having this transplant, she felt, like she said, vibrating at a higher level. Every part of her tingled. Her mind was crisp and clear. She could feel warmth that she hadn't felt in decades. She goes, my heart was pumping to every single cell in my body, and I was elated. And she goes, the heart, when it's pumping, right, there's a big artery that comes out of the heart. It's called the aorta. And the first branches of the arteries that carry blood away from the heart are called the coronary arteries. And coronary meaning crown. They sit on top of the heart and they feed the heart. And what's incredible about this is that it takes 5% of the blood that's being pumped and it feeds itself first. Now, what if we did that? What if we took the first 5%, whatever percentage you want to call it, and we fed our souls, we fed our love, we fed ourselves first, so that then we could use the rest of the 95% of everything we have to provide care and love to everything else around us, everything that's connected to us, everything that is relying on us to be. What an incredible way to look at how important it is to love yourself and that you have it within you. You have the gold within you. Okay. I think the story, I want to get back to the story real quick and share with you, the story of the beggar and who was unaware of the gold beneath him. I think really emphasizes that we need to acknowledge our inner resources, right? Individuals often overlook the inner strengths and resources. And the story emphasizes the importance of self-exploration and recognizing your inherent capabilities, including your ability to change your thoughts, change your beliefs, and to begin the journey of healing, be it mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical. Now, like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to find 100% healing to the point where you were never ill or whatever, but you certainly will be on the path to see what your body can do and respond to, because you're allowing yourself, that you understand that you have the power. Nobody else does. You have the power. And this provides a shift in perspective, right? So the beggar situation didn't change until he looked inside the box, right? Similarly, healing often begins with that shift in perspective. You're moving from seeking external solutions, which I'm not saying you don't have external solutions to utilize, like medications or interventions, but we need to understand that we also need to recognize our internal solutions. And I think those are the more important solutions. I think you can then be discerning of what external solutions or interventions that you seek to add to your healing. And the story just kind of encourages a reevaluation of our approach to challenges, right? It really urges us to look inward for answers. And then there's this empowerment through self-discovery, right? The beggar's discovery of gold is a metaphor for the enlightening moments we experience when we discover our inner strengths. I hope that inspires you to embark on a journey of your own self-discovery. Even just that process can be healing. And then there's this kind of illusion of external dependency, right? The beggar believed his well-being always depended on external help. The story can highlight how often we depend on our external factors for our healing, our happiness, our sense of worth. Like I was relating my shift in thinking that from first it was just the delight and the thought of healing and helping, how it shifted as I grew up and thought I wasn't worthy of love or being valued until I provided some service, because that would keep people from abandoning me or keep people from, you couldn't say I wasn't worthy if I had done something magnificent for you, like help you control your blood pressure or get better. It's a messed up, warped sense of thinking. And all it does is cause depression and anxiety and stress and always seeking for validation, and the validation will never come. And, but we really have that power within us. I think there's unexplored potential, right? The story really symbolizes the unexplored potential, right? The box is closed. What's inside that box of you? What is your potential? What if you open the door within and you found something magnificent because you finally allowed yourself and set aside the fear and allowed yourself to experience the magnificent being that you are? What if you did that? I can't even imagine what this world would be like. What if we allow our children to do that? What if we quit putting the expectations of what we think they need to do and what we feel like they need to be doing and seeing and believing, and allow them to grow? As a parent of 3 grown adults, I wish I'd have learned that lesson a long time ago, and it probably would have made my kids a lot happier. I think this also really is important to understand the mindfulness and presence, right? The healing begins in the present moment when you realize you are that box, you have that gold within you, by paying attention to your current experiences and feelings, because that's all we have is now. We don't know what we have tomorrow. We've had the past. We can utilize the past as a teacher and learning, and what can we do better from that. But for me, at this moment in my life, I want to just learn to be more open, less judgmental or non-judgmental. Really understand that I have the power of love within me, to provide others. And I hope, oh my goodness, I hope that it just ignites the power of love in others. I can't even tell you how important that is. My heart beats faster at the thought of being a being of love. And I know that you can too. And that means that you won't be relying on some external coach or doctor or anybody to love yourself. Nobody needs to tell you that you're worth it. You need to know it. You are a magnificent, wonderful being. And I hope that resonates with at least one person. Maybe it's not today, I don't know. But someone listening to this somewhere, I hope that you understand that. But as always, these were my thoughts for today, and I felt very strongly that I needed to share that with you. And thank you for spending time with me today. I know you could be somewhere else, and I really appreciate you. I hope this is helpful. If maybe you know someone that might help, maybe share this message with them. But you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, and I am off, and yeah, I'm going to enjoy my day as well. So thank you again for being with me as always. And yeah, just hope it's a wonderful, blessed day, and you guys have a wonderful time. Take care.